Hi everyone, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today we're going to talk about the DEA 8-hour training requirement. If you have not had to renew your DEA license, or maybe you're new to obtaining a DEA license, you may not be aware that you are required to take a new 8-hour training course. This is a one-time training. It is not every time you renew. However, it did become a mandate in late June of 2023. So if you happen to renew your DEA license before, I think it's June 27th, 2023, I'm looking at my notes, there is a possibility you have not had to do the 8-hour training yet because the license is good for 3 years and you're going to be coming up on it, however, very soon. I did a video about this when it first became a requirement, but I figured since we're kind of coming through that 3-year cycle of people who renewed right before the requirement are going to be needing to renew soon, I wanted to do another video on this. The 8-hour training requirement is based off of the Medication Access and Training Expansion Act, or MATE Act, M-A-T-E is the acronym. Again, it's a law called Medication Access and Training Expansion, and it was part of the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023. And the training is aimed at ensuring prescribers understand safe opioid prescribing and identifying and managing substance use disorder. Again, it's a one-time training. It's not annual. It's not every time you renew. It's one and done. So who needs to complete the training? Great question. It is for anybody who is prescribing controlled medications and going to be obtaining a DEA license. So that would be MD and DOs, NPs and PAs. We have dentists on the list, podiatrists, any provider who prescribes, administers, or dispenses controlled substances. The only exception would be for veterinarians. Veterinarians have to get a DEA license to prescribe controlled medicines to animals. However, because I guess they're prescribing to animals, they don't have to do this training. That would be the only exception for who does not require the training at all. So if you renewed your DEA, here we go, before June 27th, 2023, you'll complete the training before your next renewal. And if you're newly applying, of course, you must complete it before your application is submitted. Just make sure that you attest that you completed the training. You don't have to upload any certification proving that you did the training unless they ask you to specifically. However, they could come to you when they're processing your renewal or your initial request and ask you to provide it. So they're going on your honor of being truthful that you completed the 8-hour training. However, if they ask for that certificate proving that you did it, you better have it, okay? So just some people who could be exempt from this because they've already completed the requirement. Now, veterinarians are exempt because of their specialty and they prescribe to animals. Everyone has to complete the training. However, there are some specialties in human medicine that have already done the training. So they wouldn't have to do it again based off of their specialty. And maybe it will make a little bit more sense when I tell you who's exempt because they've already completed it. So people, specialists who are board certified in addiction medicine, of course, that's part of their training already, right? So they've had extensive, more than 8 hours, I'm sure, of this specific training. So they don't have to do it again. As well as addiction psychiatry. Again, it's covered in their board certification. And then anybody that's graduated within the last 5 years from programs with opioid SUD training included. There could be programs out there that already include it in their academia and they don't have to do it again either, but you would need to confirm with your program if that's true or not. I'm sure you would know, but if you're not sure, check with it. If you've taken that training before, you've already met these requirements, which is the former data waiver or X waiver buprenorphine prescribers. So if you were going to be prescribing buprenorphine, you had to do a data waiver. It's called the X waiver. That also qualifies you, and you would not have to do it again, but you would have to show them that you did do it with that data waiver before if they were to ask for proof. So you want to make sure you have that certificate. If you can't find that certificate, even though you did it, you would just want to do that 8-hour training again, just to make sure that everything is there if you are asked to provide proof. Okay. So you would just want to attest yes when they ask you the question on the portal when you're applying for your DEA license initially, or even if you're renewing, and then have that certificate, that proof handy if they were to ask you for it. There are many places to take these trainings, and most of them are free. Actually, I'm going to put some links in the video description for you if you're needing to find some. But there is also a blog on my website. My husband does my blogs, bless his heart, that has all the links and more information on this topic as well. He puts a lot of work into it. So if you're interested in more of this subject or any of my videos, he does blogs on them. So check that out. I will put the link to my blog page for my webpage in the video description as well. But just some examples where these are free. Some of these also give you CME credits, which is pretty nice. So you have the AMA Education Hub. It has curated courses specifically labeled meets the MATE Act requirements. Then you have SAMHSA, SAM, HSA. The federally backed trainings are on there, so it hits the requirement as well. You have the Providers Clinical Support System, or PCSS. It's free on-demand modules, and they have live webinars, which is very nice. Your state medical and nursing board should also have these for you. Many offer free or low-cost modules that can count for both your state CME credits and the DEA requirement. So something to keep in mind if you have to pay for it. If you can get CMEs on top of it, it's 2 birds with 1 stone. But you always want to make sure that the course confirms and says that it meets the MATE Act, M-A-T-E, all capital because it's an acronym, MATE Act /DEA 8-hour requirement. So you want to make sure you specifically look for that in the verbiage of whatever courses you're looking at taking to ensure that it is going to fulfill anything and you can get a certificate proving that you took it too. That's going to be important as well. Once you complete it, make sure you download that certificate, keep a digital copy, maybe on an external hard drive as well in case something happens to your computer. I like to print a paper copy because I'm old school and I like paper stuff too. So I have digital and paper for a lot of things. It's up to you. And then just make sure when you're renewing your DEA on the portal, there will be a spot if you have not already to attest that you've already done it. And then you only have to do it one time, which is very nice. And if you're working in a clinic or a hospital, I would definitely recommend sending a copy of your certificate to your HR department or your office manager or whomever would be keeping track of your personnel file so it can go in there. So if they need it, they also have access to it without having to ask you for it. So just a little tip there. So again, one-time requirement, 8 hours. You attest to it when you're renewing for your license or submitting for an initial license. Completing it early helps avoid renewal delays. So if you know your DEA is going to be needing renewal very soon, just go do it so that when you do have to renew, you can just click that button and you're not rushing to try to get it done. Just a little tip there too. And sometimes it can count for CMEs as well. So make sure you find out if it does. And if it does, record it on your CME hours so you get 2 birds with 1 stone. I always like that too. So if you have any questions or comments, again, check out the video description. I'm going to have links to where you can find some of these courses that you can take. It's going to give you a link to my blogs page on my website where I have articles on these topics and many other things, everything I've done videos on. So check that out. And if you have any questions, leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video is helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please share this with your colleagues whom you feel would benefit. Thank you so much for the support, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.